The Marvels is directed by Nia DaCosta and is the newest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It tells a story about how Kamala Khan, Carol Danvers, and Monica Rambeau, all characters with these light-based powers, somehow get their powers entangled with each other. So anytime one of them uses their powers, they get switched with one of the other two characters. And they have to fight some villain whose name I can't remember, who wants to do something with one of the bangles that Miss Marvel has from the Miss Marvel show. And she's ripping holes in time and space, and some dastardly things are going on. And it's a messy movie, but I still liked it because of a few reasons. I'll get into those in a bit. What can I say about the mess that this movie is? The characters are barely developed. The villain sucks. The banter between Monica and Carol sucks because we're just thrown into it. Monica is mad at Carol because she says, "You never came back. I waited for you this whole time." Okay. Like, we're just getting introduced to this conflict between them, and it's supposed to feel like this giant big thing. But it never does because we're just thrown into it out of nowhere, and we don't feel any tension between them, when they bring it up. And they talk about it like once more until it gets resolved later on. And the reason it gets resolved is because of the reason Captain Marvel and the villain, whose name I can't remember, it's why they have beef with each other. And the reason they have beef with each other is so underdeveloped because it's explained in like a few lines. It's dumb. That sucks, and it makes the villain suck. And the villain has some noble causes, I guess, for her people, because her planet's resources are like completely wiped out, and it has something to do with Captain Marvel. She says, "I destroyed something that I thought was bad for them, but I was wrong, so that's why they call me the Annihilator." And so the Kree are just trying to do some things and rip open holes in space-time to steal people's resources, like water and air. It's because we get that motivation for the villain so late on, and we don't know what the hell the villain's doing in the beginning. That's why it sucks. That's why the villain sucks. That, and the villain just doesn't seem powerful or menacing. I forget her name, so I'm just going to call her Darman, because that's what it sounds like. I got to look it up real quick. I'm sorry. It's honestly sad that I can't remember this villain's name. Darben. She's so forgettable. She's so boring. The Monica character, I never really cared about. I thought she was boring in WandaVision. I still think she's boring now. And, Carol, I thought she was fine in Captain Marvel. I think the problem with that movie is just the script. She's written, like, boring. She's a boring character in her own movie. And she's, way too overpowered. And even here, they could easily destroy this villain, but they even recognize, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's because we keep switching places. You could easily destroy this villain." I just want to rant about something Captain Marvel does in the film that really irked me, and it's because they never go back to talk about it, which is what really irks me the most. So they have to save the Skrulls because Darman opens up a portal and tries to steal the air from that place. Never mind that Darman could totally do it in an entirely different place on the planet and not kill all of these people in the process. But it's probably because she has that vendetta with Captain Marvel. What bothers me about this is that they're trying to save the Skrulls and get them on these ships and get them out of there. A ship ends up going through the portal, eventually going to the planet that the Kree are on. I think they're the Kree. Kamala notices and she says, "We can't stop the ship." So Captain Marvel pushes one of the ships, and as they're getting everyone on the ships, Kamala says, "We have to save them. What about all those people?" Then Captain Marvel yells at her and says, "We have to save the people we can." And then they get on the ship and leave, and consequently leaving a bunch of people there to die. What a hero Captain Marvel is. What a hero we have to look up to. And what's most infuriating about this scene is that they don't go back to it. Carol just says, "Hey, Kamala, sorry for yelling at you." That's all they say about that scene. They could have used that moment to give Captain Marvel some character and say, "Hey, I'm sorry. We can't save everybody. That's just the cost of being a hero." We can't have a moment like that. We can't have a moment where characters feel weak like that. feel weak that they can't save everybody. Of course, Carol has her issues with herself saying, oh, I fucked up everything with the Kree and I'm the reason their planet's so fucked up. And that's why I haven't come back to Earth, Monica. That's why I feel like I've been having to go out there and save everyone. I don't think she's been doing anything to save the Kree people. If she has so much baggage about it, why hasn't she been doing anything about the Kree? Instead, we're just focusing on this. You get why this film is such a mess and why it's not as good as it could be, or it's not even that good. We could have had a moment where Carol is vulnerable, more vulnerable, the most vulnerable she's ever been in her life, and tell Kamala, hey, that's the cost of being a hero. We can't save everybody. And maybe recognize that Captain Marvel was just being a dick. I mean, come on, what a hero to look up to. She's fine in the movie. She's not terrible, but she's still kind of boring. But that leads us to the third of the Marvels, Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani, and she is awesome. Okay, I loved her in her Miss Marvel show. I loved her banter with her family. That family dynamic is one of the things that kept the show going strong until it got a little boring in the second half. But that family dynamic was still there. But the family dynamic carries over into this film. So Kamala and her family are gold. I love every moment with them. Kamala's awesome. She's so energetic. Iman Vellani is just... How awesome is it that such a huge Marvel fan got to be in a Marvel film and it be her dream character and it be her first acting role in Miss Marvel? That's incredible. And she knocks it out of the park in this film. She's just so energetic and happy. She has a wide range of emotions. She's dorky. She's funny. And she's badass. I love her powers. It's really cool. She's the glue holding this film together. She's trying her absolute best to hold this film together. And I can tell she's having fun. But the rest of the film is just messy. I just wanted to say that Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, he's great in the movie, but he's not the Nick Fury that we used to know. He's not super serious and menacing. He's a joke machine in this film, but I didn't mind it because he cracks a lot of good jokes. They're really funny. It's just weird sometimes where it doesn't have the whiplash that other Marvel films had where they crack a joke in the middle of something serious. They crack a joke, but then something serious is about to happen. Not something serious already happened. Something serious is about to happen. That's the weird whiplash about the jokes in this film, at least coming from Nick Fury. And also, the film seems so inconsequential. It seems so unimportant in the bigger picture of the Marvel Universe at first until the mid-credit scene, which is undoubtedly kind of lame. There's something that happens at the end of the film that seems like such a huge deal. And then we have a scene with these cats in space, and it's so silly. It has the potential to be kind of funny. I don't know. It just seems like so out of place. It could have been funny. Like the scene where the characters go to the water planet and all the characters talk in music. They talk in song, except one character who's bilingual, so you can talk, to the characters regularly. But it feels so inconsequential to the rest of the film because the film grinds to a halt to listen to these characters sing. And then they don't even sing during battle, or it's just so weird. It doesn't feel like it needs to be there. I will say, though, that the action is really well done. I think the choreography with the hand-to-hand combat between all of the characters and then how they all have to use their powers to switch places with other characters. They have a moment where they're team building and, training to switch their powers and training to be in sync. I think that's really fun. The film needed, more of that fun energy. Fun, not goofy. It needed to be more fun. But even though I thought the action was great in those aspects, the hand-to-hand combat stuff is definitely more fun than just seeing Captain Marvel fly through a bunch of ships. It looks cool, but I kind of don't feel a lot of emotion or weight coming from it, especially when some of the CGI looks a little wonky. Sometimes it looks cool, but sometimes it looks really weird, especially when it's characters flying in the air and the camera's pushed in on them and they're in front of a green screen or a projection or something, and they look so out of place. It looks weird. But the action's really cool, but also I felt it weird, the explanation as to why the characters are switching places and how inconsistent it is. It's fun when the characters use their powers and they have to adapt to being in a new place to use their powers again to fight the villains. But it's weird because they don't explain how sometimes they can use their powers and then stay in place, and sometimes they use their powers and then switch automatically. I felt like that could have used a little more explanation. Like maybe if some of them use their powers at the same time, they switched places, or if they all use their powers at the same time, they switch places. Or if one of them uses their powers, they kind of stay there, but if two of them use their powers, those two switch. I wish they explained something like that, because it felt like if one of them used their powers, they didn't switch, but then sometimes they contradicted themselves in another weird way. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that I wish they explained, because it's such a big part of the story. You see why I'm saying this is a messy film? The villain is boring. Even though she has a good cause, it comes in way too late to explain why she has a beef with Captain Marvel. And it just seems like she's doing these dastardly villainous things in the beginning at first. And then like, oh no, I'm doing it because our people need help. But fuck the other people, am I right? And then the banter between Monica and Carol is just so boring. And we're thrown into it and I don't care about it. Kamala Khan, she's gold. She's the best part of the movie. She's keeping everything together. That isn't the action, the good choreography. She's just undoubtedly charming in the film. On my Letterboxd, I gave this 3-star for the sake of just because I enjoyed it, but I think here I'm gonna give it a C. I gave Ant-Man and the Wasp. I gave Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania a C-, a 2-star I think on my Letterboxd, or 2.5-star. I don't know, but this isn't as bad as that, because Ant-Man and the Wasp is just way too goofy and the action wasn't as cool. The CG was kind of cool there, but the CG in here is just okay at times. It looks good sometimes, but it's weird. I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm giving the Marvels a C on here, I think. Yeah, the Marvels is getting a C. It's not as bad as Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I'm not going to say the MCU has fallen off and that they're in total trouble, because I did enjoy myself with this movie, but I can totally see a bunch of people not liking this at all. So, what did you think about The Marvels? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Did you think it was fine? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and I'll be back with more enjoyable content like this. So, yeah, bye.